Section 3.2.RA-9. The following data for a random sample of banks in two cities represent the ATM fees for using another bank's ATM. We want to compute the sample variance for ATM fees for each city. We want to find the sample variance for city A and the sample variance for city B. Now, in the sample variance formula, we got to take the sum of the data value minus the sample mean, square it, and then divide it by n minus 1. So because we're looking for the variance, we need to look for the sample mean. Now the sample mean for city A, we have to add the data values and divide by the total number of values, which is 5. So when we add up those 5 values and divide by 5, we get a sample mean of $1.35. Likewise, for city B, we're going to do the same thing. We have 5 data values. In order to find a sample mean, we're going to add all 5 of those up and divide by 5. And over here, we get a sample mean of $1.30. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to calculate that numerator. And by calculating the numerator, we want to start by calculating the individual values. So the individual values are $2.50, $1.25, $1, $0, and $2. And what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the mean that we got, the sample mean. So the sample mean that we got, which was 135, we're going to subtract it from each data value and then square it. So we have 250 minus 135 squared gives us 1.3225. 1.25 minus 130.35 squared gives us 0.0100. 1.00 minus 1.35 squared gives us 0.1225. And 0 minus 1.35 squared gives us 1.8225. And then 2 minus 1.35 squared gives us 0.4225. And so once we have all these values, we want to be able to add them in part 3 to find the sum. So when we add these numbers together, we get 3.7000. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We can see that the sample mean for this is 1.30. We're going to take each data value, subtract 1.30 from each, and then square it. So we get 1.25 minus 1.30 and square it to get 0.0025. 1.00 minus 1.30 squared to get 0.0900, and we continue on. Now once we get those values, we need to add them together to find the sum. So when we add these together, we get 0.1750. Now in step 4, now we're going to plug in this information to find our variance. So we know that the sum, which is our numerator, becomes 3.700. We know the number of data values is 5, and we're going to subtract 1 that's in the formula. So 3.700 divided by 5 minus 1 gives us a variance of 0.93. And over here, we're going to take, again, the sum, which is going to be 0.1750, divide that by 5 minus 1 gives us 0.04. So the variance for the ATM fees for using another bank's ATM in City A is about 93 cents. Whereas the variance for the ATM fees for using another bank's ATM in City B is about 4 cents.